the first episode of Downtown Jiu Jitsu Club, hosted by Adam Redzovic. I'm Dougie Corrado, that's Protein Poppy. This is Ibo Krizovac. Did I do it right? Got it. Close. That's pretty solid, thanks. This is just how we're going to communicate with the students now. Adam, do you want to address the students and what this is going to be moving forward?
Yeah, this is episode 1 officially, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is, we did a fight companion last week, but this is episode number 1, and we're going to give it a good effort and use this as our platform to communicate to our teammates, the student body, address issues, topics, all things jiu-jitsu and current events as well. And we're going to make some mistakes, and hopefully we're going to learn from them and keep getting better. And that's the blueprint, right? Yeah,
that's it. Basically, the first one we wanted to do was the next drop for these. I think it's going to be July 25th. Do you just want to talk about the clothing a little bit?
Yeah, at the forefront of this new effort with rebranding and doing things a little bit differently, we're going to try to give a good focus on our apparel line, Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club. And so we have these shirts coming July 25th, and we're going to coordinate a drop here, make a special event out of it, and that's going to be right around the time of the grand opening for the weight room, right? Mm-hmm. Is it August?
Yeah, I think we're aiming August 1st.
August 1st, yeah. So everything we're doing is on site with the goal of having our online shop established within the next month or so. But I think the next drop is probably going to be on site, and shortly after that, right around that time, you should start hearing things about things being available online. So those of you who've reached out looking to grab something but just don't live in the Chicagoland area, thank you for your patience, thank you for your support, and we're going to be working hard to get the infrastructure set up to get you that gear by that no later than the end of the summer. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm. One more thing, I was getting a lot of questions from the students, then we'll get on to the more fun stuff in the current event. We'll pull up the fun stuff. But was the new structure of how you're doing classes now, how you're setting up like workshops and stuff, if you could just expand on that so the students have a better idea of why we're changing to that.
Yeah, I think just off of past experiences, now it's been about 20 years managing a school, so we have made a lot of mistakes, figured some things out, and just as far as the general class structure, something we've been doing, we started doing this a little bit before the pandemic. The way I came up, the way most people have come up early on was, a jiu-jitsu class is typically an hour, and most jiu-jitsu schools, you start sparring about halfway in. Obviously, that's not all schools, but most of the schools I've had the pleasure of training at, and my own personal reality, that was kind of standard practice. You have an hour class, and about half an hour is dedicated towards some sparring resistance training. So what we've done here is the classes are 45 minutes. So you have 45 minutes of all like technical development, drilling, maybe a little bit of scenario resistance training. And most of the classes are going to be followed up with another 45 minutes of what we would call open mat or randori sessions, where people will have the opportunity to spar or leave. You came, you did your technical development, you want to go home, fantastic. Even if you want to just show up for the sparring portion, you're more than welcome. But if you're going to do both, now you have an hour and a half class. Generally, that's how most of the classes seem to be lining up now. Mm-hmm. We still do have hour classes, and there will be a little bit of resistance training in some of those. So generally, we have more 45-minute time blocks. And another thing, I think what you were mentioning was the course format. Mm-hmm. This is just going to give this is going to challenge our instructors to just refine their own curriculums. So maybe on the first goal, they'll get some research that helps them for the second course later in the year. But this also will give students a renewed sense of focus, where they know that there's a start date, there's an end date, and there's a specific topic that's being discussed. Like we always talk about here, where focus goes, energy flows. So the focus is going to be on a certain topic. Right now, Ibro's running a butterfly guard fundamentals workshop, no-gi butterfly guard fundamentals. And how's that going, Ibro? I'm hearing so far so good. Everybody seems to enjoy it. The classes are packed.
Yeah, off the first day, had like almost 20 people in class, and then every week or every class is just people coming in, and even if they didn't jump into the first one or the second one, they'll come into at least one day a week. But the people that have been coming in consistently, I see from first day. We started the first day off, first 5 minutes, I said, put yourselves in butterfly guard and just see what you can do. And it was a mess. You know, some people, you could see some people clearly have put a little bit of time in, but most people, we have more of the newer guys in class, and it's just had no idea what to do. And from that day on, every day we'll end the class with some positional, and I'm seeing steady development. Now I'm rolling with people in class in like a randoi class after the sports class, or an hour and a half later, and then I see people hitting some of these moves we're working on. It's like, yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. It's like you put some focus on something, like you said, focus goes, energy flows. So it's like this, especially 6 weeks of it.
I've been seeing a lot of guys, like when they go to the other classes, the sparring for the other classes, and they're like smacking that arm drag from butterfly guard.
That was the first thing I showed, yeah. And now this week, because I kind of keep it consistent each week, just because not everyone can make it to every class. So just for anyone who might be listening and wants to jump in, it's like jump in whenever. But each week is more of a topic being focused on, instead of like each class is different. So this week is like this simple hook sweep. And last week when I showed it right away in the sparring, right after, I saw people going for it right away. And it's like when you focus on one thing, instead of just going to sparring and just jumping into what you usually do, you can see a huge development in these people. And that's why this course is going to be, moving forward, it's going to be the best.
Yeah, I think it's when it's time to spar, you can get several rounds of sparring in without having to touch any particular position. You might have a particular way of getting the job done, and that might not have to entail working your back attacks, for example, or working your back defense, for example, or your butterfly guard or whatever guard. You're starting to see this more and more become the norm when you see how Olympians train in different grappling sports. Like it's not always rounds of sparring. Obviously, we need rounds of sparring, but I think people are starting to see the value in having focused sparring, focused training. Yeah, I love that quote, where focus goes, energy flows. I didn't make that up. That's I think I stole that from Tony Robbins. But if you think about it, it's actually very powerful. The next course that we're, floating around here is a white belt boot camp or blue belt boot camp, something that we can, give the white belts a platform to kind of get them ready for the blue belt, and the blue belts ready for the purple belt. And another thing that we're doing differently is we have a very flexible tuition structure now. So those of you who are watching and you're not ready to commit to becoming a full-time member, but one of these topics that we're focusing on interests you, or you just want to pop in every now and then, we have 10 class packs and 24 class packs. And as far as cross training and people coming in from different teams, like we've always had a pretty relaxed culture here. If your attitude is good, you bring good energy into our space. We don't really care about what team you're on. So those guests are welcome. Obviously, send us a message, an email for the initial visit, because another thing that we're doing different here is we're keeping the classes smaller, and we have a bit of a application process for taking new members. The goal after managing a school for over 20 years, what we're trying to do different here is quality over quantity. We don't have a goal of having 500 students, 400 students, 300 students. We want to have a smaller community. We want to, increase the value here. And so yeah, if you're interested in coming in, this would be a great opportunity. We're in transition right now before the weight room opens up, so I think it's going to be a really good opportunity to get on board. At some point, the rates will increase again once the gym is fully, complete. So I think this would be a great opportunity for you guys to contact the guys and get in on the course.
Existing members, we have 2 of these jackets left. Remember, to unlock these jackets, you have to upgrade your monthly membership to just a paid in full. So you're basically just like committing to your training for the year, and this signifies that you're willing to commit to your training, pretty much. But this last weekend was Father's Day. Did your kids do anything special? Was it just spending time?
Yeah, I just to piggyback off that point, like when you look at our structure, like the membership structures, they pretty much reflect like the more you're committed to your own journey, the more benefit you get from your membership. It's kind of like the more you take advantage of your membership, the more value you get from it. So that would be, just something, a value that we're doing to get more paid in fulls. Now with everything we're trying to do, that capital would be very helpful. So yeah, definitely, if you're interested, reach out to Doug. At Father's Day, it was nice. It was just a peaceful Sunday with the family. Didn't do anything out of the ordinary. But I think just that recognition people like, right? Like something we've talked about before. It seems like on a base level, we all need that. We need love, we need recognition, and we need to be heard. And I think these holidays, they fulfill some of that. Now I'm going to recognize my mother or my father or it's his birthday or whatever. So it was nice to have a Father's Day. It was cool.
I finally got my parents to go out to eat and like go in public.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they've been vaccinated for months. I got them to go out to Green Street. Protein put me onto Green Street. I ate there 3 times since you showed me.
It's been like a week.
But it's so good. Have you guys been?
No, I haven't.
It's just barbecue, but it's really good barbecue.
No, actually, I think I have.
It's grass
Right there in the West Loop, right?
West Loop, yeah, Fulton Market.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I was there when Cole was in town. We ate there.
Oh, nice.
And,
it's in that like cool courtyard with like the original cobblestone.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think Meek introduced me to the place. Yeah, he did his research.
Yeah, he put me on too. I was like, yo, let's go get this when he was here.
Shout out
Probably order
Meek.
that for takeout.
We miss you, Meek.
Shout out Meek.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the South, they have restaurants like that all over the place. When I was in Georgia, it seemed like. So I remember taking Cole there. I was thinking, he's going to appreciate this restaurant. He did. He loved it. But then when we sat down, I realized, like, this just feels like you're in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Chicago.
Yeah.
I think that's all the serious stuff. But now we can just get into the fun stuff. You just want me to start throwing stuff at you?
You're the boss.
All right, cool. So let's just start with MMA news. I got a couple of videos for you. Obviously, we can't show the audio or the video, but here we go. This past weekend, Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez in a boxing match. I don't know if you saw this.
Junior, not senior.
Oh yeah, junior.
Yeah.
He's still showboating. That's the best part.
Dude, he
He's like,
landed
"Come on."
shots.
But he's always gonna be Anderson Silva. That's the one thing. He's the person that made me feel when I was, because I grew up watching MMA. My dad would always get with his friends and watch it and bring me along, and that's how I first started getting into it. And I think that's where I first got introduced to Jiu Jitsu, and it was Anderson Silva. Seemed like he was in the Matrix, and I think that's what made me fall in love. I always loved martial arts, but that's what I was like, hold up, that's who I want to be. That kind
Do
of
you
guy.
remember which fight that was?
No, man, I watched, I think when he went on his championship run where he went undefeated, 16 straight fights? I think we watched every single one from maybe, man, I think, who's the red-haired dude? One of his,
Chris Lieben?
Chris Lieben, yeah. When
yeah,
he
that was-
tore up Chris Lieben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was his first fight in the UFC.
Yes.
I think so.
And I think that was one of the first fights I ever watched. And he just seemed like Chris Lieben was hard-headed, like tough guy, but it's like that only gets you so far when you run into a
Yeah.
master of who knows what he's doing.
Yeah, because Chris Lieben would probably knock out.
You would knock me out.
Yeah, he's playing. He basically plays chicken, right? He's gonna see. One of us is getting knocked out.
Yeah. I just heard a quote from Justin Gagey, where he said when he was first like starting to really come up and get a name for himself, he was talking about. He's like, I want to be the most exciting fighter. And he's like, I want people to know that either I'm winning or you're knocking me out. He's like, there's no other way. He's like, I'm going to win some and I'm going to lose some. And if I do lose some, it's going to be from knockout. It's like,
That goes
crazy.
That does go crazy.
Because it's like, if you committed to scrapping like that, I'll watch. If someone doesn't care about his brain cells like that, he don't care about the other dude
Yeah.
then, and he'll fight.
And then he gets a win and he does a backflip off the cage, just tearing his ACLs in half.
Who's that dude that just fought a couple weekends ago? That
Tierney McKinney, I think that was his name.
did he actually blow his knee out, or was that just like a little? He tweaked it.
I actually haven't seen the update.
Did you see that, Adam?
He jumped off the cage and
No,
blew his knee out?
he didn't. He just ran up on the cage a little bit, like hips up, and then came down on his knee, and then just like laid down and held onto his knee.
Oh, man.
And it's after a crazy knockout, 5-6 seconds in, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Was it like that quick? I think it was the first 1-2 he threw, put the guy to sleep.
Oh, man.
There was another dude
It's a little
too
bittersweet.
that did like a backflip off it, and then I don't know if you guys talked about it already. He did a backflip off a cage, and like he landed like this or something, like this. He basically like he messed up his whole shoulder,
Who was that?
like dislocated his whole shoulder.
That's the.
I'm sorry.
Who's that? Dude with the mohawk, man. He always has the mohawk. That's where you heard him. He like dislocated his shoulder dancing after the end of a fight. You know who I'm talking about.
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Here's the Terrence McKinney thing. We got it right here. It's a 7-second boom. 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2.
Slap. Does he play again? Let's see. Boom.
Hurts knee in celebration.
And then right here. Boom, right here. You can see his knee give out.
That might be meniscus, I would guess, just because planting and twisting. It looks like when he planted, he twisted a little bit.
Been there. It sucks when you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
Who was the football player? I heard a football player put his cleats so deep into the pitch, and then twisted and turned, and his foot and knee stayed in the same place, and his body turned the other way, and just tore everything.
Every time I hear like that type of injury, it's like when the planting and the twisting, that seems to be a recipe for tearing the meniscus. Yeah, I know quite a few people who've had that.
Do you have any? Is this from personal experience? You know a little bit about, or
Yeah.
one thing about being this deep into, I'm pretty sure any sport, but I feel especially like Jiu Jitsu combat sports, you become a doctor, kind of like a makeshift doctor.
Yeah, you do. You become like a poor man's chiropractor.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the phrase.
I was talking with Meek about this. He's like, man, I've been through so many injuries. I know how to like rehab all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's true though. Like all through my injuries, I learned how to do athletic training for myself. Like tape up my ankle really good. I know how to tape up my elbow. I know how to rehab it. Like that little voodoo band I did on you.
Yeah.
It helped a little bit, right?
Helped a lot.
Yeah. So like that's just like finding out like, damn, I messed myself up in training, you know, and like now when people get hurt or like they get hurt doing something else, I'm like, oh, you'll be good. Like do this and that, you know, or like.
Yeah, I'm out here giving advice. I shouldn't be giving advice.
Yeah.
But I come back from it. I'm not all torn
Yeah.
up. I'm a little messed up, but that's just part of the game, I think.
Yeah, it seems like part of life too. You know, just having to deal with adversity, deal with a body that's
So fragile.
That's mortal, right? Like we're gonna have to. I mean, you hear of people who just live a life and they haven't really had to deal with any major injuries, but I know people personally who don't live an active lifestyle and still manage to tear their ACL.
That sucks.
You know,
That's
Yeah,
like
some of the most injured people I know are truck drivers.
yeah,
Damn.
sitting
Because they're just
like
chilling.
so
they're just
sedentary.
chilling.
Yeah. Your
well-
body will go one way or the other.
Yeah, I think if you're actively involved in sports and martial arts, you just
your body just gets tough.
Yeah, and you also, I think your mind gets tougher. You know, I've seen people who've had major injuries and they still are active. They just warm up differently than other people. And I've met people who have had what we would deem very insignificant injuries, and they walk around life thinking that they have a bad insert this or that. I have a bad shoulder. I have a bad back. I have a bad.
That's the
something.
mindset thing.
Yeah.
One person that I talked to about that made me realize it. It's just you're just saying, oh, I have a bum knee, I have a bum shoulder. Damir, chiropractor Damir Simonats, shout out.
Yeah,
They
He
got-
just tore his ACL like yesterday.
Really?
yesterday.
Yeah, no, I was
I saw
talking
I saw it on Instagram. He
with
posted
Dr.
it.
Joe. I went
Yeah.
over to visit Dr. Joe the other day, and he was telling me he was in Dr. Joe's half guard, and then he was going over. Dr. Joe went to get the ankle, and he twisted it hard, right? So to like cause his hip to shift in, and Damir knew like right away. He's like, yeah, I went for it either way, something like that. Where like basically his leg was like,
Oh,
Do you
my
guys think that when
That's-
they roll together, they're like thinking like, no, I'm the better chiropractor?
That's doctor on doctor crime.
It's like, you think you crack people?
Check this out.
What he told me was he gets a lot of people to say like, oh, I've had this bum, that, and it's like, so what do you do about it? They're like, when you say, it's like the mindset of like, I have a bum shoulder, so there's no point in me even trying anymore. And that's where the problem's coming, because like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna just not even do nothing about it because there's nothing I can do. There's always something you can do.
That reminds me of a quote, partially reminds me, I have a partial memory of the quote. It said something like, any of your deficiencies that you defend, you get to keep them.
Yeah.
So like, no, I'm not good at this. Okay, then you're not good at this.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you, oh, no, I have a bad. Oh, okay, fine, you have a
Yes,
bad.
you do.
That's how powerful the mind is. I remember when I was, I had a back injury before jiu-jitsu. I was like 15, 16-year-old, just lifting weights incorrectly, and I remember I hurt my back and then recovered. But then at a later point, I remember, around the blue belt level, I had I re-aggravated the back. But long story short, throughout these injuries, if you don't give up, you're forced to learn more about your body. You're forced to learn how to better utilize your body. And then as far as jiu-jitsu goes, I was forced to evolve my jiu-jitsu. When I was younger, I was doing a lot of just close guard. I would attack triangles and arm bars from the close guard, and I felt like I was on my way figuring things out. And then the back injury just didn't let me do that anymore. And I think some people would quit. I just started playing half guard, and that's
No, that's like your go-to.
That's adapting right there.
Yeah.
Adapt or die.
Yeah, you have to, you quit.
Or quit.
Oh, yeah.
That's die. That's basically dying jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, your jiu-jitsu dies, right?
Speaking of injuries, I have this video. This happened at RVCA. RVCA?
Hold on. Is it about to be like someone
No, it's not
clearly
bad.
blowing
No.
their knee out?
No, this kind of
I
goes.
can't watch that.
I feel like this could attest to like how to be a quality training partner and how to not be a quality training partner. But because I don't think any of you guys have seen this, there's controversy around this about who's the bad guy in this video, and I want you to look closely when the skinnier guy shoots for an underhook. So
I'm gonna guess it's the dude that's all red right now. Like, he looks pissed.
the skinnier dude, his name is Sean Strickland. He's scheduled to fight Uriah Hall in his first main event in the UFC ever. So he has the biggest event of his life coming up, and this is supposed to be his sparring partner. So just watch very closely when Sean shoots the underhook.
Sean's the skinnier dude.
You see that?
The taller dude.
Yeah, that's weird.
So you see he went for it already right there, and you're like, okay, maybe that was just a little defense. Yeah, Sean's the skinnier dude. And then right here. Watch, he puts the underhook again. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't do that.
Right here.
Ah.
How do you feel about that, Adam?
He uses it against them too.
Should probably explain. I
There's,
don't know if people can see.
Yeah, actually, no one knows we're watching, bro.
He goes underhook, and then clamps down on the underhook and twists in to make the person's shoulder come in, kind of like an Americana.
If you've ever seen the Glover Teixeira versus John Jones fight.
Yeah, yeah.
But he doesn't do it slow. Like not like
cranks
John
it- he
didn't do it
cranks it
slow,
quick.
but he like punches through.
He did it so fast, you don't have time
Yeah.
to react. Like,
I mean,
the only
plus,
thing is like, pop.
it was pretty solid. Like, his body didn't move. Sean's didn't, so it just straight shoulder.
Yeah.
So I'm sure something popped.
And if you listen closely right here,
You know what you fucking did. Do what? What I do? You know what you did. What I do? Did you see that shit? Did you see that shit? No, you're a fucking...
you hear his motive come out.
What do you say?
Listen, wait.
Nah, dude, it was a fucking dick move, dude. Dude, how the fuck is that nigga just grappling? He's fucking grappling. Like this. Boom. Like that. Fucking dick move. How is it a fucking dick move?
Oh, sorry for all these swears.
When you train shirtless, you gotta swear.
What did he say?
I can't find it right there. But basically, in the argument, he says, you were talking all that junk about how I don't belong here. And now I catch you with a quick submission and you get upset. And so he's like acting innocent, but then he says that it's like, oh, that was the motive. You heard that this dude said you don't belong here, and now you're trying to take him out of his main event for his first ever main event fight.
You think that was his motive of like knowing he's got a main event, or just because he was talking smack? He was
Just
like,
because he was talking smack, but you got to put it in perspective.
I mean,
That's ego, man.
Yeah, like I mean, like everything, there's, context, right? And I watched this. It went viral, and I think in our community, it's still a small community to some extent, and people know each other, and I think you're going to see people who, because they're friends with Orlando, for example, they're going to side with him, and Strickland, if they're friends with him, they're going to side. And then we all have our own ideas, but the context, that gym is more like a private gym too, and it's more like MMA fighters there, and these are two fighters. These are like, I guess, look, if you saw that in a normal class, man, of course, what's going on? Now you have the ego is involved. These are two fighters, and supposedly one was kind of poking at the other's ego, and you open up that door, right? So a couple observations, like, there is a lesson there for us all. If you're gonna reach, like, this is a risk, So he obviously knows that better than before. But as far as training etiquette, I think, you're exploding into something. With that said, that particular move, when it's taught, you're going to see like people incorporate their legs. You kind of to get more torque on the arm. So, is he? The amount of damage you can do by torquing the arm like that, I think it's going to hurt. Sucks to get torqued like that, but I don't think it's going to be as devastating as like if you had someone in a fully extended arm lock with control over the legs, incorporated. But this is like a perfect recipe for us, for everyone to talk and chime in. We're doing, right? So I guess, long story short, like, I wouldn't use this as any. If people are training like this, they're just a normal practitioner training with another normal practitioner. You're not going to have many training partners in the gym that are going to want to train with you if it seems like it's that ill intent. But supposedly, if everything we're reading and what's coming out, like it was antagonized a little bit by the guy who got hurt. So it is what it is, like they're grappling. It's not a friendly spar between two normal guys that train regularly together. It seems like it was almost the ego was driving this training session, and and there are certain people that you have to understand that are just different too. Like Meek would be an example, right? Like Meek brings a level of intensity that is, it's unique, and we benefit from it in the room, or it'll kill you. So now in the gym, I think for like normal practitioners, I think where some value comes in is knowing that, hey, every now and then there will be someone in the training room that goes a little bit too hard, they're a little bit too aggressive. And I think the goal should be for us to neutralize them by showing them the way, not by lecturing them. Like, hey, this should not happen. No, like, show them how it should happen, because then they'll have their ear. If you can beat them and you can do it with clean technique, you're gonna have that social credit in their head. They're gonna listen to you. But
that's my thing with if someone comes to me, I mean, we work here at the gym, so people will come to us about gym things, like controversy or whatever. We don't have much, or we barely have any. You have those small things where someone's like, this guy's spazzy. Like this new white belt, he's an athlete, but he's spazzy. And it'll be like a blue belt comes up to me or something. I'm not thinking of any particular, but I just know I've been here for a long time, so I know I've had that happen to me. And I'm just like, hey, you're a blue, control him. Like you should be able to control them. I understand you don't want to like blow a knee out, but you should be able to do it safely, you know? Because it's like, if it's a brand new person coming on the mats, that's basically street fight level. Like that's what you're going to most likely face in the street. That level of experience and reaction. And then when you train with another blue belt, purple belt that is doing jiu-jitsu, you're not getting a realistic world view. Like 99% of people don't train jiu-jitsu. Maybe it's a bigger number. I'm just pulling that out. But if it's a crazy spazzy white belt that doesn't know what they're doing and you can't hold them down, that kind of speaks to your jiu-jitsu. But if you can, then that kind of proves to you, I have some level of control here. I could hold this person down even if they like freak out. And that probably shows to that person even more like, oh man, this works. Versus you just being like, hey man, no, don't do that. Then it becomes like.
Yeah, and when we talk about this topic, sometimes it might be perceived as like I give a pass to the spazzy guys, or just because.
No, yeah, definitely don't be spazzy.
Yeah,
it's like try not to.
Yeah, or those overly aggressive guys. I feel like I wouldn't encourage people to follow that path, to develop, to become that. But I kind of feel like they are necessary for our full potential, to grow to our full potential. Show them the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't talk, don't preach, just be. Show them. And but I get it. Like there's something people can see it like, what he's doing he shouldn't be doing. Like I'll give you one example. I remember one blue belt training with another blue belt, or they might have been both white belts that were like on the cusp of blue belt, whatever. One of them got choked by a face choke. Mm-hmm. So that's one of these things that we can discuss too, right? Like, is a face choke a legit choke? Well, if you go to a tournament and tap to it, yes. I mean, most tournaments, they're going to, you can't just tell the ref, it was on my jaw. No, like, it is what it is, and so I remember one of these guys was complaining that his training partner, he didn't come complaining to the senior leadership. He basically was telling the guy directly, like, hey, he tapped, and then he said, that is generally bad etiquette, which it is. Generally, it's not going to win you many friends in a gym if you're always doing it, but it does. There is value in getting face choked to kind of just be aware that this is possible. Make sure that you do what you got to do to prevent it. But the guy was not receptive to the feedback after coming from someone that he just tapped to the face choke. He goes, well, it worked. You tapped, right? But now if that same message came from someone who was able to beat him with grace, I think he'd be a lot more receptive to what the guy has to say. The issue is not everyone has that ability yet. So then what we're left with is like, hey, the rules, point to the rules, tell the teacher or whatever. This is just the reality of sparring, of being in the gym and having our egos on the line and, testing each other. And this is not a daily incident, but these things happen every now and then. So I think ultimately, people who train like that, if the room is filled with people who are overly aggressive, ultimately the culture can become, an issue. But every now and then, when you have someone who's overly aggressive, I wouldn't be quick to just ostracize him. Is that the word? Mm-hmm. Kick him out. Like, we got to find a balance, and that's how we grow, right? We grow through these adversities, through these challenges. So, I think we have to find a way to. How would you deal with if it becomes like someone has a consistent pattern of they don't really care about anyone's well-being in the gym? Like, okay, well, this is not a good energy in the gym.
Who's that dude, that MMA fighter that just like keeps cranking it?
Rusmar Palhares.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm thinking about. That's that's the worst of the extremity, right?
Yeah, if it's going to get to the point where you're going to try and destroy someone's joints,
like after they tap.
Yeah, no way, no way.
Nobody's fighting for world championships in here.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, anyone that's watching, I'm cool with everything. You can face choke me. That's just for me. I'm the one training partner. You want to go crazy? I don't care.
That's
'Cause it's fun.
That's what I'm saying. I agree.
It's a
too.
good time.
When you said it was like it makes you stronger or better as like you're faced with different types of training partners. You're faced with like more real world type scenario where like, all right, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. He might grab my cheek or something, or like pull my hair by accident. Right?
Yeah. You can't
So,
just bring it all back to the real world.
Yeah.
Someone does something in a street fight. Hold up, bro. That's the rules are. And they're like eye poke, or you know what I'm
like,
saying?
How are you gonna react to it? Like, what would you actually do if that happened?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What, you don't know the ADC?
Finding some dude in an alley, bro. Heel hooks aren't allowed. Like, do what you want.
Hold on, bro. Let me start from the knees.
Yeah, I think to get that confidence where, like what Ibro was saying, if you're training with him in the gym, do whatever you want, it's because he went through adversity. He went through these situations, figured out the solutions to those problems, and eventually became confident. And I guess to summarize everything I was just saying, would go back to this. The goal for us, I believe, at least for me, and I think if you think about this long enough, you probably want the same thing. It's basically, the goal is for us to reach a level where we can be successful without harming our training partner and without our training partner harming us. That's like the high level where someone can take a spazzy person, someone who just seems to be out of control, still defeat that person, but do so in a way where that person doesn't even hurt themselves. Because that's another thing where people will end up doing things that just like they tear their own limb from doing something.
Don't look at me.
So, but if you're training with someone who's a master, they can recognize this and they can stop you from hurting yourself. So I think that's something to strive for. That you can train. I have enough control, or you're not going to hurt me. Even if you don't have the control, I'm going to make sure you don't hurt yourself. And if we're striving towards that, we're going to have to deal with some of those sticky situations. But
That's true, actually, because when you're rolling with like people who do leg locks, I roll with people who do leg locks. I'm not that, I'm not like the best at them. So sometimes when I'm escaping, I'll escape from it, and then the dude would like let me like go easily. He's like, hey, like that's pretty much where it was, right? Because at a certain point, if I rolled the other way, the opposite way, I would have messed my stuff up.
yeah, and
So
if,
he pretty much like helped me out,
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is, as a community, we should look out for the weak to some extent, right? Like, so if we see someone treating our white belts like this, that's a problem, and because we're supposed to be protecting them, we're supposed to be developing them. They're obviously at a level where, they don't know, as much as we do. So, but if it's the opposite, if we're just going to take advantage of their ignorance and lack of experience and just try to feel better about ourselves because we're going to just destroy them, that's just a sign of our ego being unhealthy.
This is a video of a good example. Matt Serra, if you guys want to see the video, it's ex-UFC champion Matt Serra hilariously restrains drunken man in restaurant.
Yeah.
Full mount.
And he's communicating with everybody, just controlling the wrists.
Yeah, this
Laughing.
is the master.
What are you gonna do to Matt Serra?
Yeah, he's not letting this guy hurt himself.
Yeah, he's not hurting him. He's just
Just his ego.
The guy's trying.
and he went from tough to I'm pointing and I say I'm pressing charges.
It's usually how it goes. Pointing in his face.
But you see, like, for example, going back to that first video we watched, if you have, like, those guys are professional athletes, right? Like Orlando Sanchez is, I think he's fought in MMA. He's also ADCC champion. So this is like I mean, go into a locker room in any sport organization and start getting competitive with those guys. Like, there's psychopath level competitiveness, you know what I mean? So now if it's...
Going into psycho, I want to move on a little bit. If you could touch to the mindset of, I'm not sure if you saw this video, but
yeah, I love both these guys.
Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Wilder did his rematch clause, so he basically stole Tyson Fury from Anthony Joshua. That fight was supposed to happen. He's like, no, you have to fight me again. And this is their stare down. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll skim through it. They stared down for 5 minutes straight.
And Wilder sometimes will surprise you with like yelling, right? Bomb squad or something.
But they just
He just got headphones in. He's just chilling.
It's just lo-fi.
He's listen to opera.
everybody's like, should we get them?
Yeah, that's going to be a very.
Now the squads are coming in. The camps are coming in.
Yeah, their fights have been epic.
Yeah. Oh my God. When he almost knocked him dead, and he just stood up.
Yeah.
Well, I would still be asleep. If that was me, I would still be asleep now. But he stood up. Sure, you could say the count was a little long, but if you see a guy trying to stand up from that, you give him a few more seconds. It's like if you can get up from that,
Yeah.
and he kept fighting. Like he didn't fight like a hurt person. He fought like
Yeah, he ended up winning that round probably. I mean,
just unbelievable.
you can't really. The boxing system just seems like so corrupt, but it looks like I think he won that round.
He killed him in the rematch.
Oh my God.
He said after the knockdown, the end of that round is when he learned how to beat Deontay. Because he started pressuring him and going hard, and he's like, oh, he can't take that at all. And he just brought that into the second fight and finished him.
He finished how to like learn how to finish the boss. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
That's a common theme, right? Like the offense be your defense. Like if you're attacking, he has to start fighting, stepping back.
Pressure is one of the biggest weapons for fighting. I think anytime I roll, and I always know I'm rolling with an MMA guy, is when they put that MMA pressure on you. And it's like I've trained with MMA fighters, and I'm not saying like professional level, but all different types of levels, who are doing jiu-jitsu for a year, but they'll give me a match because they will not stop coming at me. Like I have no time to establish my game. It's just like I'm trying to defend this move. Now I'm trying to defend this move. I'm trying to defend the takedown. And then by the time I'm like get to like maybe I sweep and get to mount, I'm exhausted. I'm like, damn, I just fought this hard to get a mount on this guy.
That reminds me of Khabib Gaethje. Just forward.
Trying to chop his legs as he's running at him, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, that's when someone is in your face,
Panic
coming
mode.
forward. You know something interesting about the pressure I remember hearing before is you have to keep it consistent, because by default, if you step off the gas a little bit, now you would be fading. So some people, they'll come out super hard, but it's an unsustainable pace, and then they just fade.
That'd be kind of like Connor.
I mean,
Some examples.
Don't do my boy like that.
Hey, he did it to himself.
yeah, but if you can maintain that, I mean, think about that when you go out there on the mats, you know, like you can start off going crazy, but the moment that you feel like, all right, I gotta relax a little bit, there it is, right? Or you can.
Then they'll push the gas.
Did you guys see Drew Dober? So Gaethje fought Khabib, obviously. That didn't go well, but then Drew Dober is from the same camp as Gaethje, and he fought Islam Makhachev, and that also did not go well. He just got dominated and submitted in like the second round, and Drew Dober was doing an interview. He's like, when I came back to camp, Justin Gaethje looked at me. He goes, right? like now you see what that feels like. I just thought that was really funny. Just like they're boys, and they both fought pretty much the same guy. You know?
Yeah, the exact same person.
Different level.
Yeah, I wonder how Islam's career is gonna go. He's got all the tools.
No one will fight him.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be world champion.
What is he now? Is he ranked in the top 5, top 10?
He's like low in the top 10, if not in the top 15.
Islam is his brother or a cousin?
I don't think they're related, but
They're
they're
same.
They're brothers of the mountain.
That's pretty racist.
Is it?
No.
They call themselves mountain guys.
I'd like to see that Hezbollah fight. Hezbollah and
Oh yeah,
Wait, I don't understand those little kids.
They're 19.
dude, they're
19.
They're grown.
Oh, I had a feeling they were a little older than they were, but I didn't know. Okay, wow, that's funny.
Hilarious though.
yeah, it's so funny.
I love that kid guy.
Yeah, God bless them, man. They're living it up. They got, the whole world is talking about them. It seems like they gone viral.
I've never seen somebody that looks like that.
Yeah. That guy Husband is funny though. I like him.
The little kid, the white.
The first video I saw of him was him like walking up to one guy on some mats, and just punched him in the face and running.
Yeah, that's the first time
that was
So
hilarious.
funny.
You
'Cause
did
it
that
had-
to
it had,
Khabib, too.
like, kind of good form. You
I was like,
like
that's a kid? Yeah. That's when I thought he was like 4 years old. And he ran off like a child, like a 3-year-old. Gave him a nice cross and was just like, I'm out. Hilarious.
That's so funny.
This is this weekend's fight coming up. I don't know if you guys were excited about it, but it's Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of them or.
Yeah.
Volkov, yeah.
uh,
I don't know, surreal.
I don't know, sir.
Cyril Gane is like he's French, but a lot of people call him like the French Anthony Joshua of MMA because he
Yeah.
kind of looks like Anthony Joshua. I call him that.
Trying to get it
yeah,
going.
Volkov had that fight against
Wolverine.
no, it was Derek.
Derek Lewis, where he
was-
knocked him out last.
Yeah,
15
he was winning the
seconds or
whole fight, and then the last minute he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Because Derek Lewis is just he's a dangerous guy to hope no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Last second, he can get a job done.
Derek Lewis is the best.
Yeah, best Instagram too.
He's okay.
Oh, that's the best.
But yeah, this is I'm more excited for this fight than like Wilder versus Fury because these guys are both very legit.
Yeah, I've never seen Cyril
Me neither.
fight before.
He's a very like good kickboxer. He's very light on his feet, but I don't know how he's going to do against Volkov because Volkov is 6'7" and he's Russian, and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volkov, his main strength is what? Is it
Russian, being Russian.
Yeah,
Kickboxing.
he's a kickboxer.
Yeah, but he put his hands on Alistair Overeem their last fight. That should have somebody should have called like a domestic violence case on that fight because it was not fair.
And he got released now, right? Overeem, I think.
Yeah, he went to Glory. He's kickboxing.
Hell yeah. Just start roiding up.
Yeah, Ubereem's back.
Horse meat.
Yeah, that's upcoming fights. But these are just like kind of news things. It's just two more things because we're kind of running out of time. But I thought these were kind of funny. This is the headline is IKEA fined 1.2 million for spying on employees in France. And basically it's just like IKEA France was accused of deploying an alleged spying system on current and prospective employees from 2009 to 2012. Private investigators were paid over $700,000 annually in effort to obtain background about the staff while also vetting applicants. So if you applied to IKEA, a private investigator would come check you out.
Wait, why?
It's just like you, bro.
Right? This is not like the Federal Reserve.
Bro, I'm just selling furniture.
That's just in
France, I guess.
Like, who's the manager of that IKEA that's like the most paranoid dude alive?
They're coming after my furniture.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I've heard I've heard about people getting jobs at Home Depot, and then because you get a discount, and then if you come from like a situation where you got contractors as family, and you're shady to begin with, you're gonna I've heard of people exploiting that system. They'll get hired, now they'll be able to like hook up everyone up and sometimes just flat out steal. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's at play too. But
Okay. Because
but I mean-
the manager is named Patrick Soave, and this is kind of funny too. Soave asked another police officer to cast an eye on 49 candidates who had been selected for jobs. So he's basically just like asking police officers to like follow, like, bro, I'm just trying to get a job. It's probably like 16-year-olds looking for a summer job.
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, this stuff's probably going to get easier and easier, I would imagine, with just how much data we willingly put out there
Yeah.
through social media, and then just all the tools that are being developed to track us. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if,
It's just such a weird one, IKEA.
yeah.
What's this next one? Drill music.
Have you guys ever had the meatballs from IKEA?
Hell yeah.
Are they actually good?
Yes. One time I was at IKEA, I told you this story, bro. And I had just bought like a desk and some furniture. And this was years ago, so like I didn't have any money. Like I spent all my money on this desk. And I go and I get meatballs and like some mashed potatoes for my sister, and my card declines. And the 16-year-old dude at the register just looked at me and goes, "You don't even have $8?" And I was like, I was devastated. I was devastated. I was like, "No, I don't."
Is he for real?
He said it loud too, and I was like, "Man, are you trying to throw hands in this idea?"
Watch him out.
I thought this one was kind of funny. This is how drill music took over Chicago and was almost forced out, but that's the title. But that's not really what this is about. This is about like the CPD and like just like the government of Chicago putting in effort to like not let drill music be performed, or this is like Chief. Are you familiar with them? Like Chief Keef and Lil Durk and all them. They were like huge when we were growing up, and it got to the point where Chief Keef couldn't even find a venue to perform. So he was like, all right, well, like let me do it like a holographic performance. You know, like those Tupac, Mike Tyson ones.
Yeah.
And he tried to do it, and this is what it said. By now, you've heard stories of Chief Keef's hologram performance, which is consisted solely of him playing "I Don't Like" and urging the crowd to stop violence and let our kids live. Getting shut down by an overzealous Hammond cops, but Murphy says that cops forcefully went about making sure the hologram was turned off, and then even started beating Chief Keef's electronic visage with billy clubs.
Is that true?
Is that real?
Just throwing hands at hologram.
That sounds like a Family Guy thing. Like they just start beating his hologram.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting.
So what do they mention anything about like?
That's as far as I got.
Yeah.
That's just
Couldn't stop laughing.
I read that and I was like, I was like, this is it. I just highlighted it.
They
I was
wrote
like,
that as fact, like it
That's
really
what happened.
I don't know. It's complex news, but I just thought it was very funny.
That's pretty funny, man.
But I could see why they don't like let him perform here, because it's just like, that's not good vibes.
No.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably the reason, right? Like the track record of just maybe
The lyrics.
go a little bit too wild.
But it makes you think if he could do a hologram performance because he did it while he was in LA. So you do the live performance.
Okay.
The tech is you do the live performance, not a recording.
Oh.
So you're performing and you're being beamed onto the stage.
Did he
So-
know he was getting beat up?
No, but
that'd be funny.
he's like,
He
"What's
starts
up?"
reacting to the hits.
He's like, ah.
He's squat up.
That is so funny. I can't believe that's true.
Yeah.
No way. That's too funny.
Could you imagine just like the future of touring? You don't have to leave.
Yeah, but you're gonna go pay to see somebody like perform?
What if they get good at it? You can't even tell.
No, I'm not. No,
No.
I'm not
Tell
gonna
me.
pay money to see somebody on YouTube.
You're gonna start jumping everybody starts jumping the hologram.
It's like when Plankton eats like his holographic food.
Every now and then I'll just think back and feel old. This is one of those moments. I remember when I was a kid. The controversy. There was controversy with the rap that was coming out, and there was court hearings to see if they can actually say the things that they're saying. I think it was like 2 Live Crew or something from Florida. Who else was it? NWA, Tupac. And then that's like the free speech, which is on basically that's what you're challenging, right?
Yeah, on that note, didn't they do the same thing to Eminem?
I'm sure they did.
Where he's like, yo, I'm not actually like killing my girlfriend and putting her in the trunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
I
was
think
saying
there was
stuff like
controversy
that.
there too. Yeah, man, it's we're living. The world is broken. There's always going to be,
It's a simulation.
an issue for, we're going to find issues, and so either you give free speech and you allow some of the craziness, or you don't allow some of the craziness. Now you don't allow the free speech.
And it's weird, like this rapper. I'm trying to find a good article for it, but I don't know if you know this kid,
XXX.
XXS Tentacion. He got killed three years ago, and his music was insane.
Yeah.
Like his early music, especially, like just so brutal. But like now that he like passed away, and he like let out other music, now you look back, you're like, oh, he was just
Troubled.
a very troubled young kid, and he was actually super talented. But when you like look back at his like
Yeah, he
his
was, like,
perception, he was, oh my gosh, like how is like he was like SoundCloud rapper, like saying terrible stuff.
Screaming, talking about like crazy stuff.
Oh,
say
yeah,
it.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's probably countless people who have similar pain that he is experiencing, that's trying to communicate, and they identify with it, they support him, they find a connection to him, and I would imagine that's at play too.
He was turning his life around though.
He was.
But he got shot in his BMW. I saw the
Oh, yeah.
video.
They ran up on him, right?
15 minutes after it happened, I saw it on Twitter. He's just like mouth open, just like in his BMW. People were trying to like talk to him, just like bullets in the chest, in his neck. It's crazy. Over a bag of cash. Like a little in his, like, he had like a Louis V, like, fanny pack or something. They shot him over it.
And there's videos of he was buying a motorcycle, I think. And there's videos of the kids that kill him come into the same dealership to just kind of like make sure he has the catch with him. And then when he leaves, they just pull up right in front of him, hop out and kill him.
So stupid.
Yeah, and that's like, seems like we're dodging that all the time, at least here in Chicago, right? Like you're hearing all, like, there's the carjacking.
There's a siren going off right now.
Yeah, man, may God protect us all. And
Dude, like the Barstool Sports guy, what's his name?
Dave Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy, when he did a
On
pizza,
State, right here.
on State at the Art of Pizza, and he's just like, doing like one bite, you all know the rules, and then a car screeches off. He goes, "Was that a carjacking?" And he gets it on video, a carjacking.
Yeah, I saw
It was
it.
right in front of 502.
Yeah.
Literally right in front of him.
Yeah, and then we're all just, turned it into political stuff and something to argue about.
What do you guys think of,
Yes.
I agree.
in terms of, just because we were talking about kind of speech and whatever, but trying to bring it back to martial arts, is this like the controversy of like trash talk in MMA now, especially after Conor McGregor and that kind of stuff? Because people say like in martial arts you have like the honor, respect, that's like the building blocks of martial arts, discipline, but then you have guys like him, guys like Adesanya, who are like tearing the game up, but they're also talking trash. Do you think that's like a pro or a con?
I think Conor was more pro because like he would tear him up a little bit, but he wouldn't do stuff that like embarrasses them to the point that like ends their career. Like Adesanya's ending people's careers, like what he did to Paulo Costa, like that man.
Paulo Costa ended his own career, or is ending his own career by blaming drinking wine the night before a championship fight. Like, you're an idiot.
And he's tweeting, he's like, "I'm about to give birth to Izzy's child. It's been 9 months."
Yeah,
like,
he
bro,
said that.
Why
Why are you saying this to yourself?
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Maybe
For real?
Something's lost in translation, maybe.
His Twitter, he must have just got a hold of it. His manager is probably
Yeah, I was like, there's no PR guy like doing like, yo, bro, you should have said that. Like, maybe reword
America's
it.
tearing you up right now. That's not funny over here.
Costa's down bad.
Yeah.
I swear, like he's saying crazy stuff. He keeps saying like he's talking about flat Earth, and he's like, it's in broken English, but he's like, I need a podcast with Eddie Bravo and Alex Jones and blah 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 stuff like that. I'm like, so this is the real Paulo, okay?
Yeah, it's to each their own, I guess. We can justify a lot of things, and I think money is going to be the justification most times in these things, like because they're going to get more. And it's true. And it's not just MMA, it's in Jiu Jitsu now. It's
Gordon Ryan.
Gordon Ryan, and it seems like, it's entertaining. It works. I think we have to separate entertainment from reality. Ultimately, Muhammad Ali did it, right?
He did it with grace, though. He was like rhyming and stuff.
Man, when you look and see what's like the back and forth with Frazier was, man, that was pretty deep. It was so I guess it is what it is. Like, this is entertainment.
Yeah.
And look, now is that something? I mean, I guess that's what all it is, entertainment. Like, I look at guys like Gordon Ryan, for example, man, the best by far. Like,
That's one thing.
You train with him, right?
Never.
No.
Never.
That's one thing about being a trash talker, is you better be winning.
Yeah.
And when you're not winning, shut up. Please.
Yeah.
No, you got to do the Colby Covington.
No, what's
he
that
loses and he
Dylan Dennis.
He sprints out of the octagon when he lost to Kamaru. Do you see that? Colby, when he lost, he literally just pulled off his gloves, ran to the back, and started tweeting.
Hell yeah. He's like, where's my phone?
He goes early stoppage. Eye pokes were fake. Ball shots were fake. Marty fake newsman.
While they were putting the belt on him. But like Dylan Dennis, I can't stand that guy.
I don't know. I was thinking that Irish kid that trains like out of, I think,
Sean O'Malley?
No. He's dope. The other
Sean.
dude. He's like in Bellator, but he's like he's a
the Strab Animal.
yeah, that dude. Like he talks
James
a lot of
Gallagher.
shit, but he doesn't, like, he's always getting.
He like lost twice. He's
Yeah,
good.
but, like,
he's good.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, like in that situation where like you talk a lot of smack, where you're not like the best, or you're like overhyping it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's levels like that you stick to. Like Dylan Dennis is under John Jones' Instagram comments, like talking trash. And it's like, dude, stop.
Don't worry, Logan Paul's gonna knock him out.
Honestly, I hope.
If you're an athlete, you're competing, whether martial arts, mixed martial arts, that is a dynamic that you have to, if you're going to reach the highest levels, you have to be prepared to deal with that dynamic. The dynamic of someone playing these mental games with you. Because if you become angered, you're not thinking rationally, you're not thinking strategically sometimes, you just think you're more impulsive. You become a dumber fighter a lot of times. I mean, not everybody, but generally, like you saw Muhammad Ali, Conor McGregor, Gordon Ryan, like that has to play with your psyche when you see look at Gordon Ryan, he did with the letter.
envelope.
He gave an envelope with a triangle on it, and now he triangle chokes the guy.
I didn't see that. So what happened?
He goes to the judges before a match and gives them an envelope. And he's like, open it after the match. And he gave him, it was a triangle on it.
Mounted
and then
triangle.
And then he finished doing a mounted triangle.
And said, who's next?
That's pretty sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And
Actually.
can you imagine standing on the mats, just like hands at your sides, like, what is he giving them?
So that, I mean, like that's part of that, I think, path. So whether we agree with it or not, I think that's another reason why it is what it is, because some people hate it and some people love it, but it is what it is.
I think you don't like Dylan Dennis because he's more of an Instagrammer than, you know what I'm saying? Like, he
What about-
acts like an Instagrammer.
What about Logan Paul and all them? They're
don't
He's a
like them
YouTuber.
either.
It's different.
I don't like them either.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both social media. I mean, Dylan Dennis was actually, he was like the big in jiu-jitsu, you know? Like he was big in the community.
I respect Logan Paul because he went in there with Mayweather. But
Yeah. But you got to respect Jake now, too. He's about to fight Tyron.
let's see if he wins. No, like fighting a real, someone who actually is known, he's not known for his stand-up, but he's put people to sleep before. Ben Askren has not put people to sleep off the feet. Nate Robinson plays basketball.
Okay. I'm making sure.
and is like the shortest basketball player. So it's like, that's like me inviting two like Tai Chi masters, like, hey, let's roll off the knees and let's you know, and then talking trash after that, like I'm the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world. That's not
But the
way
thing
to
is,
do it.
their potential is super high because, like, if they just keep doing it, like, they're super rich. They have a full team, both sides.
Yeah, they have the time. Like,
And
I
they're
can
young.
just train all day.
It's not
every
like
day.
they're
They have the
30.
resources.
Yeah.
Resources.
No,
but think
It's not
about
like
all
they're
the
30, like-
nutrition too.
Yeah.
They can like get everything
Yeah.
covered pretty much.
And Jake's 23. Like, in 8 years, like, he could potentially be world class.
I'll fight
You know?
him.
Please.
I'll fight him, I swear to
MMA,
God.
MMA.
Someone send him this video.
Now we have the platform to this is where we start calling people out. Who do you want, George? You want James Gallagher?
Okay, let's go.
Go plot him.
Go. Let me
Blow your own knee
let me
out again.
rehab.
I want Soldier Boy.
That's actually a good fight.
Yeah, the trash talk you know how earlier we had that clip of Anderson Silva doing showboating. Roy Jones also, like similar tactics. And there are people who reach that level of awareness that they can get away with it. And they actually use it to bait their opponent to, you know, step into range and they counter. And I think that's kind of what the trash talk is too. Like if I haven't mastered my range and all that, and I try to look like Roy Jones Jr., going to get knocked out. And I think if someone tries to start doing all that psychological trash talk and they can't back it up, it's going to be hilarious when they get their butt kicked. There's actually a video, I don't know if you ever saw this guy, you remember Prince Nassim, the boxer? He was very
Have you guys seen him?
flamboyant.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a video floating around out there of someone basically trying to like replicate him. He's doing the walkout and he's trying to intimidate his opponent, but then he gets knocked out. So then you become a butt of a joke, you know. People start talking about you on the podcast.
Speaking of Dylan Dennis says Prince Nassim was like the guy that he really admired. Yeah, he wears like the same like leopard shorts and stuff. I watched a podcast with him on there, and he just said that. So it's just our generation trying to emulate those guys, and it's like we have social media, so it's like it kind of is like, oh, I'm gonna troll them because that's what this is, you know. And then you're under John Jones comments all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand that guy. He would mess me up in a jiu-jitsu match for sure. But
Does that hurt? Does that hurt your heart?
no, give me a few years.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, we're talking about him right now.
Yeah.
So, hey, he wins.
His name is coming out of our mouths in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that's what it is. It's it works, but
Yeah, also that taunting too. Like some people they never get like smack talk to them while they're training.
Yeah.
Like they've never been like out of their flow, out of their energy, you know. So like somebody disrupts that, you're like, oh damn, like I didn't think it would actually hit me like this.
yeah.
We're kind of running out of time. Does anybody have anything super controversial to say?
Get the views up.
Best
Does anyone want to
podcast
make a
in
real call
Chicago.
out? Well, he wants Dylan, so
I'll fight Dylan.
screw you, Dylan. Who do you want, Adam?
I want a experienced sauna builder to meet me here at Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club, and I challenge you to build this sauna for us in the back. That's one of the things we're trying to do here. We're just keep adding these amenities, and yeah, things are a little bit. They're slowing a little bit as far as like the build-out's going, but yeah, we hope by the end of the summer we'll be pretty close to completion. And again, this is our, you know, we like hanging out, we talk, so might as well get things recorded and give you all an opportunity to connect with us. This show isn't live today. We'll be doing live shows periodically. And a lot of the shows are going to be driven off your feedback, you know, so let us know what topics you'd like to see discussed, and we'll do our best to discuss those for you. And again, we're doing this to just communicate with our community, keep you up to date. And again, if you haven't been around throughout the whole pandemic and you're thinking about getting back on the mats, this will be a perfect time. All of our membership options have been more flexible than ever. You know, it used to be the norm in martial arts community. You go to do martial arts, you're going to have to sign a contract. And I've heard contracts for many years, you know, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever. I would say it's probably still a norm, but you're starting to see more and more schools become more and more flexible. This is just the nature of the world. It seems like people are less likely to commit to things. Things are starting to become more in the favor of the consumer. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're making things super convenient, super flexible. So yeah, if you want to come back, these are the guys to talk to. They'll hook you up.
I got a question. What's up with the app?
The app is live. Currently, you can download the app, whether you're using Android, iPhone, get it through wherever you get your apps. And just type in Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club. Some of the issues that people have run into is they can't find it. And every time that's been the issue, they misspelled Jiu-Jitsu. They spelled it like J-U instead of J-I-U. So just make sure that the spelling is accurate and you'll find us. And when you download it, you can use the app to track your classes. You'll have a member profile there. We're going to stack that with videos that are going to be useful for you. So you'll access videos on the app. You'll also be able to reserve your classes, and you'll be able to scan in. You just open the barcode from the app, and that's one of the things that we're tweaking right now, probably a week away from having that system in place where you come in, you just scan yourself in.
Nice.
So yeah, we're super excited about that. The app was one of those things that we've always tried to get, and even if we were successful in developing an app in the past, I wouldn't have been confident with any of the back end stuff, you know, like the software that was running the app. The software we have now, I'm super excited about. I'm super excited about how this makes our schedule more dynamic. So keep an eye out. That's another thing on our schedule. Now that people are reserving and they have to engage with the app, we're going to be throwing random sessions out, you know, and you might be pleasantly surprised to see that there's guys getting together to train at a particular time that's just not a particular time. You know, just keep an eye out on the app. We'll keep updating things as they develop. And is there anything else you guys need to discuss?
Butterfly Guard course, Monday, Wednesday, Friday till July 7th. Stop by, please.
Yeah, and one question we keep getting is, I wasn't there for the first class or the first week. Can I still come? Yeah, of course you can. You can, as long as spots are available. You're welcome. And obviously, it would be best if you came to all the classes, but at least you know what we're going to cover, and hopefully you'll be able to be consistent in the future courses. But yeah, feel free to come through.
All good?
All good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Make sure to follow us all social media, Downtown Jiu Jitsu Club Chicago, and on YouTube at Adam Redzovic.
And like and subscribe, comment all the stuff you want to hear us talk about, or any suggestions that you have. Thank you so much. We're out.
Thank you. Episode 1.
Peace.
Wrap.
Thank you, John.